Math is important. You use it in your everyday life. For example, calculating what time you'll be at a destination. It is very important that you continue and learning math. Math rocks. I love math.
Hey guys, let's go over your Module 1 test. This is versions A, B, and D. Sorry for the clicking sound on my pencil. I have to use my backup pen. Which is the graph of f of x equals a squared plus 4x plus 2? If you write the standard form right above it, you'll get that your a value is nothing there, so that is a 1, which means the graph opens up. So that would be, the only graph would be this one here. Also, you'll know that your c value is your y-intercept. Your c value is your y-intercept. Let's figure out the axis of symmetry. That is a formula of x equals negative b over 2a. So your b value there is 4. Your a value is 1. You'll get negative 2. And that would be a line down here. This one has it, and this one does not. Question number 2, free response. What is the average rate of change of the function? So remember, average rate of change is a fancy word for slope. If you kind of just quickly did a simple graph, this is, and just x, let's just say your graph looks like this. What you're trying to find there is between 1 and 5, say this point, and let's just say this is 5, let's say this point. Basically, you're finding the slope of the blue line. So you can evaluate separately. Which basically means this is your x1, this is your x2. So they're not, it's not a order pair there, nor is an interval. It's not an order pair, it's an interval. So f of x1 value I'm just going to take and repeat it because we're going to do that for your next one. Whoops. Let's see. That didn't work. All right. So my x1 value is 1. And then we're just going to simplify here. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. I'm using PEMDAS here. And you'll get 1 comma 7. All right, let's go ahead and do now the x2 value. And x2 value is 5. So 5 squared is 25. 3 times 5 is 15. That's 100 plus 15. So f of 5 equals 115. And that is the order pair 5 comma 115. And now we're going to use our slope or average rate of change. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. And don't forget it has a minus sign. Use substitution with parentheses. So y2 value is 115 minus 7. x2 value is 5 minus 1. So this will give us 108 over 4. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 8 to 8, 28 divided by 4 is 7. So my answer for slope is 27. The average rate of change is 27. Question number 3, complete the table of values for this problem here. And you can just evaluate. I'll just do it one time and then you can use Desmos. -3 squared plus -3 minus 3. So that'd be 9 minus 3 minus 3. So that would give us 3. So when I put in -3, my output is 3. Put that into Desmos. Let me put in the function. Y equals x squared plus x minus 3. And then I click on the gear and then I want a table of values. So those are the numbers that I want to fill out. Take a picture of those. Or just write it down. -2, -1, -1, -3, 0, -3, 1, -1, 2, 3. And if you want other values that are on there, for example, -3, you can just type it in and you'll get a value. Let's just say I wanted +3. It'll get the answer for you, 9. Okay, let's go back. So -3, 3, -2, -1, -3, 0, -3, 1, -1, 2, 3, and 3, 9. And that makes sense because if you graphed it, left 3 up 3, left 2, down -1, -1, -3, 0, -3, right 1, down -1, right 2, up 3, and then 3, 9, which is off the graph. Multiple choice, use the graph to find all the solutions. So the solutions are going to be where it crosses the x-axis, okay? Well, those are these green points here, the best to my ability. And this one on the right side is between numbers 1 and 2. This one is between -2 and -3. So that would be choice E. Number 4, we need to simplify this one. So the temptation, let's write that, don't do, is to do something like this. And then negative times negative is a positive, so you do 25 times 81, and then you multiply those and you would solve that. So don't do that. You want to evaluate these separately, so square root of -1 times 25 times square root of -1 times 81. A fact you need to know is I is equal to the square root of -1. So that's going to become here and here. Square root of 25 is 5, square root of 81 is 9. And then if you square this, you get I squared equals -1. So I times I is I squared, and I squared is -1. 4 times 5 is 45. So your answer is going to be -45. What is one of the solutions? I'm going to show you guys how to do this one by factoring. You can also use this by quadratic formula, the longest, and then number 3, which would be square root method, which is probably the fastest. I'll go longest to slowest. So x equals -b, so x squared plus 0x plus 16. If you chose this by factoring, same thing. A times c is 16, my b value is 0. We haven't really done this, but it is possible. two numbers that multiply to be 16 and add to be 0. So that would be 4i and negative 4i. Negative times a positive is negative. So negative 4 times 4 is 16, and I times I is I squared. So that becomes positive 16. So you would get x plus 4i, x minus 4i, set those equal to 0, and solve. Same thing on that side, you'll get negative positive. The easiest method is just using x squared plus 16 equals 0. The square root method or square root property is only when you have a and c. Subtract 16 from both sides. Take the square root. When you take the square root, your next step is going to be plus or minus. These cancel. X equals plus or minus 4i. And that'll be your two choices there. All right, question number 6, electricity. What is the voltage of an electronic circuit with current C of 2? So they're saying C equals 2 minus J. And an impedance I, or maybe L, equals 3 plus 2J. We're going to use the formula V equals CL. And so if I know that C is equal to 2 minus J, and L is equal to 3 plus 2J, and I is equal to J, or imaginary is equal to J. Let's go ahead and simplify that. So this is either foil or the box. I'm going to show you guys my box. 2 minus I, so no longer am I going to write I's, I'm going to write J's. 3 plus 2I. We're going to multiply, and then we're going to add or combine like terms. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2i is 4i. 3 times negative I is negative 3i. And negative I times 2i is going to be negative 2i squared. So I'm going to get 6 plus 4i minus 3i minus 2i squared. Now we're going to, I squared is equal to negative 1. 4 minus 3i is just 1i. 6 plus 1i plus 2, so that would just give you 8 plus I, or 8 plus j, which would be choice A. Number 7 says to solve the quadratic formula. Solve the quadratic equation. I'm going to highlight where it says solve. There's multiple ways you can do this: factoring, quadratic formula, graphing, square root, or completing the square. I think factoring is the easiest and fastest one, but doesn't always work. A times C is negative 20. My B value is 8. If I think about all the numbers that multiply to be 20, and 2, that's negative, so x plus 10, x minus 2 equals 0. In here, the green here is what we would call the factored form, but they're asking us to solve. So solve means set it equal to 0. X plus 10 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. Subtract 10, x equals negative 10, and 2. Question number 8. Let's consider the quadratic function f of x equals negative 2, x plus 3 squared plus 5. What is the domain range of the function in interval notation?
Okay, let's label our negative and positive infinities for the domain. And the y-axis is negative infinity and positive infinity for the range. Okay, for the domain, we're going to go left to right. You can't see that, but that's what I wrote up there. And the first thing we touch is an arrow. Don't disregard that it's pointing down, and then another arrow. So it's from negative infinity to positive infinity. So that would be here on this one and this one too. Okay, the range, we're going to go from bottom to top. Move your pen like this. We'll start down here. Okay, 2 arrows. Arrows always mean a positive or negative infinity. In this case, it's negative infinity. And then it stops there at 5. That would be choice A. Alright, question number 9 here for your response question. Solve 2x squared plus 7x equals 4. Sorry about that, it's going to get better. Okay, for solving, I'm going to set it equal to 0. So I subtracted 4 here. 2x squared plus 7x minus 4 equals 0. And then now it's set equal to 0. I'm going to try a shot at factoring. So let's do our x in our box. This happens when the 2 there, half of 2 is 1. You can do a trinomial. A is 2, B is 7, and C is negative 4. Again, apologize for the blurriness. A times C goes on the top there, so negative 8. New pen color. A times C, negative 8. P value is 7. 2 numbers that multiply. And we write out your factors. Larger number on the left, bigger number on the right. There it is, nice and focused. Sorry about that. Thanks for being patient. 81. Then the one of those has to be negative, so I'm going to make b1 negative. So 8 times negative 1 is negative 8. 8 plus negative 1 is 7. Alright, those go in the bottom left, top right. We're going to add 8x and with 1x. We're splitting the middle term there. Splitting this 7x. Oops, should have done it right here. A value always goes in top left, 2x squared. Bottom right is your C value. Oh, that's what I meant to highlight. That's your B value. 8x and negative 1x, explaining that. And in pink here, your C value goes in the bottom right always. Alright, things we need to multiply now. It's 2 times 1, so 2x, 1x. Whenever you get stuck, just switch over, multiply those 2. X times negative 1 gives you negative 1x. 2x times positive 4 gives you 8x. And negative 1 times 4 gives you negative 4. So these are my answers for factoring. 2x minus 1 times x plus 4. Now that set equals 0, I can now use 0 particles. Set equals 0 and just going to solve. 2x equals 1, so divided by 2, x equals 1/2. And then x equals negative 4. Those are my 2 solutions, 2 real solutions. That's it. See you guys later. Bye.
That's all for today, Rebels. Have a mathematical Monday.